Hello everyone, my name's Cade and welcome back to more Chaos Head Noah. Last time we got the B ending route. It was depressing. I got nothing more to say on that regard. Anyways, this time, no. that scared me really badly. Anyways, this time we're going to be starting to get other endings. So the first ending we're going to get next is the Nanami ending. I think that's the one it said is next to recommend. Yeah, after B, it recommends doing Nanamis. So we're going to start with Nanamis. To get Nanamis, we need to go back, we need to start from Chapter 1. This one we'll actually be able to get pretty quickly. Well, not quickly, as, well, yes. What I meant to say is that it will be very easy to get ourselves locked into the ending. That's what I meant to say. Getting ourselves locked into the ending should be pretty easy. Because all we gotta do is go for a specific delusion here. Sure, I'm just gonna hit yes to everything here this time. Yes. Yes. Must be naval blue, everything else can F off. Parallel swimsuits. Take your glass off for swimming. She doesn't. That leaves all sorts of room for my delusions to work. Wait, go back. What do you mean that? I just realized that this is the first sign that... Hang on. I just realized that knowing that Grim is a Hazuki now, I just realized why it is that this choice makes changes if she wears glasses or not. Because she's talking with Takumi. Gosh dang it. Anyways. What are you laughing at? Hey, what were we talking before I went AFK? There we go. I was about to say, like, where's... So, what we're going to be doing here is that there's going to be the delusion of is there nothing but cola? With that delusion, we're going to just need to pick the positive choice and then answer a specific set of questions. Anyways, I don't think I did this as a negative delusion yet, have I? If I have, then we're about to find out, but... I felt like it should have been obvious to him with how much I didn't want to go and see a puddle of blood and gore. It would have been way too much for me. It wouldn't be like a haunted house or a horror movie or something. People had actually died IRL, and the killer was still in the loose. Just wherever the murderer was likely to be, I'd have liked to be anywhere but there. So I was curious about the murderer. What could have been in their motive? Were they just a psychopath that committed crimes for the hell of it? That was probably the most reasonable explanation. Whatever. It didn't really matter to me. I mean, I was a serial killer too, and even though I kill hundreds, people still treat me like a hero. That was an ESO though. Well, just goes to show how much better the 2D world is. Anyways, I tried my hardest to turn down Misumikun's proposal. I managed myself like a brawler straight off some fighting game. Psycho killer? If I ran into a guy like that, I'd turn him into mincemeat. In my delusions, I could kill or spare anyone I wanted. But the people who actually tried to live out those sorts of delusions were idiots. Didn't they know that real-life actions had real-life consequences? Even for the new gen killer would be caught eventually, and then they'd rot in prison for years, decades even, just waiting to be sent to the gallows. If I could say one thing to them, it'd be, what a pity. You really should have just kept your delusions to yourself. Oh boy. I went out to buy myself some dinner. I took the road I always used to get to my local convenience store, and it's only a 3-minute walk from my base. I walked down the sturdy alley more times than I could count. But for some reason, walking through it today, I couldn't help but feel as if I'd stepped into another world. The alley was the same as ever, but it felt like it was the first time I'd ever set foot in it. What's more, the stench of rotting garbage was lingering in the air. The moisture in the atmosphere was so thick that if I hadn't known any better, I'd have assumed that it'd just been raining. The air was like syrup on my skin. That's when I noticed it. There was something on the ground at the far end of the alley. That's a dead animal.
Huh?
At first glance, I thought it was a garbage bag from the convenience store, so I kept on walking without paying it any mind. But once I got a bit closer... No. Don't like eat. Blood and feces were pouring out from it. It was such a morbid sight that I had to avert my eyes. A shiver ran down my spine and goosebumps spread across my skin. I turned around and to head back the way I came. But behind me was another cat. A black cat. An alive one. Staring at me with radiant golden eyes. What the hell? As soon as I spoke, the cat dashed away into the shadows. For some reason I couldn't explain, I was now feeling really uncomfortable. I figured I should just get going already, but since the dead cat was in the way of my normal route, I decided to take the long way to the store. But just as I was about to head off, I realized something. This whole time I've been hearing a strange noise coming from somewhere. With a gulp, I started listening closely. There it is. What? Oh, that sucked. I was sitting behind a computer monitor. I chugged down a coal to quench my thirst, then leaned back in my chair. That was a horrible delusion. All that talk of gory shit must have gotten to my head. Whenever something really got to me like that, I tend to have all sorts of weird delusions about it. Stuff so bad it surprised even me, and even though they were just delusions, there were still a lot of times where they genuinely affected me and how I was feeling. My imagination was just too powerful for my own good. Especially in cases like these where I didn't have the full story. Whenever that happened, my mind always went wild, filling in the blanks with the worst things I could think of. Sometimes it was so terrifying that it actually made me scream. Of course, that'd be fine if I were back at my base, but if I did that in public, I'd attract all sorts of unwanted attention. And we're gonna... Hello, Cross. Hello, Remy. I'm sorry. Hearing Takumi scream is very funny to just hear rapidly. Hello, Fez. Hello, Nanami, and I think this is where we get the delusion. This is the is there nothing but cola, right?
Is there nothing but cola in here?
Here we go. And then we need to select specific options. No, go away. I am going to pause this. I'm into older sisters, not younger ones. Apparently, first option is this one. Like girls, okay, hit yes. Again, I don't want to risk getting in trouble, so I'm just going to have it blacked out. There are 3 girls I like besides her. I admit Nanami is cute, sure. I want to kiss, no, well, I'd rather say no, but I have to select yes. Alright. Oh, it just gave me an achievement. Brother, you jerk. Discovered Nanami's story. Okay. Alright, since Nanami seemed to want it so much, I'd kiss her. I mean, real... No. Even if it was my little sis. Okay, thank goodness. Take that away. Sorry, I was uncomfortable. I just want to make sure. From this point on, there is nothing I can do. It is just a straight shot to the end, I guess. But yeah, we are now officially in the next route of the game. The Nanami route. It doesn't matter what I pick from here on. So, negative? I don't know if I've actually selected negative here. Right then her glasses flashed white. Maybe they were reflecting the headlights of passing cars. Then I heard a sound. Her lips twisted into a curve, forming a smile that seemed closer to a sneer. Even though we were so far apart, even though there were so many people around, the girl's soft laugh reached my ears, clear as day. If I hadn't heard her so clearly, I would have thought she was simply exhaling. She laughed again, and then she saw... I am going to mute the video game again. Okay, it just fell into crosses. I can at least show this part. I still don't trust the game, though. I'm just showing you what it showed me. Countless shining objects fell to the ground and scattered every which way. They looked like crosses. Images of the stakes from the crucifixion incident flashed inside my mind. Oh, okay, this is actually funny. Hang on. Sorry. Evil you are. Her expression looked completely insane. Only her lips were smiling. Her eyes were bloodshot, her cheeks twisted erratically. She then shoved through the crowd and leapt onto the crosswalk, despite the fact that the pedestrian signal was still red. What was she thinking? I cowered in fear. I thought about running, but I couldn't move an inch. My legs were practically rooted to cement. I couldn't even speak. The girl was drawing closer. She was crossing the road, gripping a cross-shaped stake in her hand. Stay back. I made that plea in my head when... Girl A's body was sent flying by an oncoming truck. Screams resounded around me. The crowd was blocking my view, so I couldn't see what had happened to the girl. But I could tell. She was dead. There was no doubt about it. She was dead. She was lying in a heap on the street, covered in blood, like some kind of sopping wet tattered dish rag that I was just begging to be thrown away. Thank God, I thought instinctively. Not that I was proud of myself for thinking that way. And it's over. Ah! Ah! Hello. I suddenly snapped out of it. I was swamped in a sickly cold sweat. The pedestrians had just been screaming in shock, but now they were calmly waiting for the pedestrian signal to change. There was no truck anywhere in sight. And that girl with the glasses was still on the other side of the street, staring at me like she had been doing this entire time. Had that just been a delusion? And the pedestrian signal turned green. All the pedestrians started crossing at once. And I couldn't move. And Girl A didn't move either. She didn't laugh, nor did she roll up her skirt, nothing like that. She just stood there, staring me down. Were we the only ones standing still, as if time had frozen for just the two of us? Why was she not crossing the street? Why was she just standing there? It was strange. Really strange. I need to stay away from her. Okay, there we go. Now we're back to skipping through. I imagine that these other endings are going to start to go by really quickly as well, because we're not going to have to deal with much other dialogue soon, because we're going to be checking out these illusions, and then it'll probably cut out. I don't remember what I did here. Negative. Oh, right. Well, bad guess. Again, I'm not going for every delusion. I'm just going for what I can remember. It sounded like I just got punched. Yippee! McDonald's.
What a rogue ace is.
Thank you, Azuki. Burning. And then you are soon going to be showing her terrifying self. Hello, brief snapshot of Suwa. I don't think I've done negative here. I might have done it. I don't remember. But we're going to hit negative here and see if it does it. It was in room 36. When I went to Ad Cafe, I always used room 37. Meanwhile, room 36, the room next door, was always empty. But last week, the day I first met you, I was shocked to find that someone was actually using it. And they were looking at sites dedicated to New Gen, no less. Then I'd come across you inside Ad Cafe, started panicking, then instantly made a run for it. No way. You can't be serious. Was it really her? Back then, in that room. I looked at you, who was still sitting on the bench. Her eyes stared at me from behind her glasses, and her gaze collided with mine. It was the first time we'd properly made eye contact since we met. There was still a smile on her face for a brief moment, but it quickly changed into a puzzled look. What sort of expression was I making? I couldn't tell. I turned my gaze toward her bag, towards the toy straps attached to it once again. I felt the air change as she gasped in response. Nishijo-kun? A golden leaf fell off a branch, swaying in the wind, and ever so gently, ever so gracefully, danced through the air. All sorts of thoughts flashed through my mind. I didn't really understand why, but Garofagis were popular, so having a few of them dangling from your bag wasn't anything unusual. But on that day, you had probably been there, in room 36. All this time, she never mentioned it even once. And to make matters worse, she'd been researching New Gen. I'd almost completely forgotten about those incidents already, but I'd been a witness in one of them. That gruesome spectacle revived itself again in my mind. And then I saw a flash of the culprit's face.
Is it about these things? They're called Garofagis. Some friends started giving them to me, and before I knew it, I already had 3 of them.
His smile had gone slightly stiffer. She reached out for her bag, trying to take the Gare Froggy straps off of it.
They've gotten very popular with high school girls recently. I don't really find them that cute, but
His hands were trembling. She frantically tried to pull them off her bag, but they wouldn't budge.
it's strange. Why aren't they coming off? Wait just a moment. Please, I'll give you a closer look at them as soon as I can get them off.
Yep, here we go. Nay. Ah. Hello, evil you, Shogun. Click me. It sounds like I just got a piece of paper torn apart. So apparently the rest of this, is not going to be apparent until later. Or, like, the change in the story is not going to be apparent until Chapter 6. Until then, we're just kind of going through the motions as usual. It didn't take long for me to be called into the examination room. I expected to be waiting there for quite a while, but I guess I was wrong. Why had there been so many people in the lobby then? Maybe they were being paid to sit there and just make it look busy. This is a positive delusion. I don't trust it. It was a different examination room than the one from 4 years ago, but when I stepped inside, I was welcomed with a face I remembered dearly. Hey there, Nishijo-kun. Dr. Takashina rose to his feet with a familiar smile, then reached his hand out to me. Realizing he was searching for a handshake, I hurriedly reciprocated. It's so delightful seeing you again. Well, I suppose delightful may be a strange way of putting it. After all, you must be having a really hard time for you to come back here again. Despite it being 4 years since we last seen each other, he was incredibly friendly. My slight nervousness that I'd been struggling with was eased in seconds. So, what brings you here today? He gestured for me to sit down, so I did. Likely due to all the tension melting away, I told him everything about what had happened to me and what might happen to me in the future. I stumbled over my words many times, probably because I wasn't used to talking so much, but Dr. Takashina didn't rush me. He listened to me intently with a serious look on his face, while offering occasional interjections to make sure I knew he was following. Of course, I also told him everything about you and the demon girl, and considered that doing so might be dangerous, but right now he was the only person I could rely on. Well then, that should be enough for me to tell you what's wrong. After hearing everything I had to say, Dr. Takashina pondered for a moment, then began to speak. Nothing. You are perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with you at all. Are you sure? Of course. Those were the words I wanted to hear more than anything. I dragged myself to the hospital for the sole purpose of hearing them. I was scared that he'd tell me that something was wrong with me, and I had no idea what I would have done if he had. But getting checked out by Dr. Takashina had been right after all. Rather, the one who may have something wrong with her is that girl you mentioned, Kusunoki-san. It's difficult to judge from your story alone, but that girl may be suffering from some kind of mental disability. There is a real possibility that she will take actions that will endanger you. As such, we ought to inform the police as soon as possible. Huh? The police? True, that was probably the safest option. He was right. There had to be something wrong with Yua. She was batshit insane. The thought of her stalking me again sent shivers down my spine. Of course, I intend to take full responsibility for your safety. Looking at me with a powerful, reassuring gaze, Dr. Takashina clapped his hand on my shoulder encouragingly. He even handed me his business card, complete with his phone number. And if any problems occur, do not hesitate to contact me at any time. I'll be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just give me a call and I'll be there in a jiffy. Are you sure? Absolutely. You needn't even ask. I am your primary physician, after all. I was on the verge of tears. I was truly grateful to be under his care. From the bottom of my heart, doctors as good as him were hard to find nowadays. Regarding the demon girl, it would be best to report her as well, don't you think? Nishijo-kun, the girl you saw must be the true culprit of Nugent. There's no mistaking it. You carry an incredible witness testimony. Dr. Takashina seemed somewhat excited, but you couldn't tell from his tone. As always, he spoke calmly. Those cases will all be resolved thanks to you, Nishijo-kun. You're the hero of Shibuya. I feel beyond honored to be standing here before you at this very moment. That was a hero? Oh god. This wasn't Yaso. There's no way in hell someone like me could be a hero. When I imagined it, my face broke out into a grin. Everyone... Being a TV celebrity sounded cool and all, but I didn't want to appear in front of people, so I created a startup company instead. And I'd become a hugely charismatic boss, making the big bucks. I'd be surrounded by a pair of beautiful secretaries they may ever need, and of course, I'd trip their flags and make them go crazy over me. I have a high-rise apartment in Roppongi, hire a bunch of cute maids, be my own personal maid cafe. Of course, I'd be indulging in endless passion. I won. Yep. Stop. I probably came to my senses, only to find myself sitting on a sofa in the lobby. Unable to grasp what exactly was going on, I looked frantically around the room. Beside me was a hunched-over old lady. Her eyes were covered in wrinkles, so I couldn't tell whether she was asleep or awake. I took a look at the clock above the reception desk, and saw I'd been waiting in the lobby for a full hour. Had that all just been a dream? I hadn't slept last night, so had I dozed off while waiting? How glorious it would be if that dream were actually real. Talk about disappointing. In the end, I found myself waiting for another 2 hours before my name was finally called. And when I entered the examination room, it felt almost like the same events I'd seen in that dream were happening again. Dr. Takashini even appeared almost exactly like he had in the dream. And it was probably just that he barely changed since the last time I saw him 4 years ago. This time he didn't rise from his seat, nor did he offer to shake my hand. How can I help you today? And unlike the dream, he didn't seem especially happy to see me again. Well, I'm Nishito. Ah, yes, introductions are probably in order. My name is Dr. Takashina. It's a pleasure to meet you. Okay, there we go. Whee! I don't think I've done a positive delusion here yet. I don't think so. I am very afraid of doing a positive delusion here.
You don't have to go home.
What do you mean?
You know, since I've come to get ya.
Incredibly realistic whisper reached my ears. It felt like something was poking my cheek. I slowly opened my eyes.
Morning, you big dum-dum.
Oh god! You have brown hair! Beside the bed stood Seraton, pre-transformation Amanagawa Sarah version. And she certainly wasn't at 1/8 scale. She was life-sized, and she was moving, smoothly. With a gulp, I sat up, then reached out to try and poke her. No! No! Stop it! No! She's no figure. She's the real deal. Seraton's joined the realm of 3D.
Shogi, this is Tui, of course.
Wait, it is? Even though they're so squishy? Stop it.
Tui squishing you, silly.
I think I what she meant, but as long as they're... Okay, stop it. A life-size Seraton was insanely cute, so Moe could die, and most important of all, she was real. Thanks, Seth. The bashfulness that came from me... Stop it. Sorry, Seraton. Stop. I'm getting ready to mute the gameplay. No.
Says you guys with Suzumu. I got you ever tried scaring me, I'll smash it. Okay.
I don't like it.
It's too loud and nice nurse like you might find us.
Seraton must have been being mindful of the world outside the curtain. No. I'm sorry. I'm getting scared. Without saying... Almost saying something out loud again, I hurriedly covered my mouth. Straddling me. No! 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 This is how... No!
Got an idea. You should become 2D too.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you're still 3D, aren't ya? So I'm gonna make you 2D, just like me.
Just get a just lay him out like a pancake.
Sound good?
Can you really do that?
Of course I can. Besides,
No. No. I was getting light. Stop it. No. No.
that's spirit.
No. 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 Evil. Evil creature. This is the softness of Tootie. Sudden borderline age scene turning my thoughts into pure spaghetti. Seraton, no! 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 Stop it! No! Get away from me! I don't like this anymore. Suck tongue. No! Stop it! This is starting to get painful. Pulling so on it hard, felt like it might rip off. It wasn't just my tongue. The inside of my throat felt hot. My eyes felt like they were going to pop out their sockets. I couldn't breathe. My chest hurt. The inside of my stomach churned and churned, turning into a pulpy, sopping mess. I was being sucked in. Everything inside my body, organs, flesh, bones, they were all being sucked in by serotonin. Feel my heart, my pounding heart rise up from my throat. Thick blood vessels tearing off one by one. It was an impossible sensation. It was incredibly painful, and yet it felt even more pleasurable. My entire body had become an erroneous zone. Yes, my entire body. And not just the outside. But the inside, my throat, my heart, my blood vessel, my lungs, my intestines, and serotonin violate. Sheer happiness. I'm gonna die. Feels so good, I'm gonna die. After everything inside my body had been sucked out, Serotonin pulled her lips away, satisfied. Her mouth was dripping with a mix of blood and drool.
Taki, you're so scrumptious.
She gave a bewitching smile. I didn't have the energy to respond. She had taken everything I had. It was the first time I'd ever experienced such overwhelming pleasure. I was in a total haze. Fog enshrouded my consciousness, and my thoughts were a blur.
Go on, Taki. Give her my little look-see. This you're not part of the 2D world.
Although I was very unsteady, I tried to get off the bed and stand. My body had become thin just like Serotonin's. It was kind of hard to walk around. My body felt limp, and I could hardly stand. I fell on my hands and knees, hitting the floor without a sound. Serotonin, I can't get up. Give me a hand here. Her voice came from above the bed.
Welcome to the...
Okay, thank you. Spring up only to find myself in the bed like before. My heart was pounding like crazy. My heart was still inside my chest where it should be. I touched every part of my body. It wasn't paper thin. I was still 3D. I couldn't see Serotonin anywhere. As it should be. Oh, it was a dream. But was that a good thing or a bad thing? I let out a sigh. The scene was just like the one in the doujin I bought from... Okay. Why hadn't I noticed that in my dream? Well, I knew that it was a dream because I hadn't noticed. But I couldn't help thinking that regardless.
Nishizo-san.
A voice called to me from the other side of the curtain. The curtain quickly opened, and the nurse from before, Hazuki-san, popped her head inside.
Good morning.
I bowed my head silently, keeping my eyes low.
You ended up sleeping soundly for 3 hours.
Had I really slept for 3 whole hours? I've been so lost in my dream that I completely lost all sense of time. Then again, I was pretty exhausted.
Sounds like you're having a bit of a bad dream. Is everything alright?
Naturally, I couldn't mention my borderline wet... Okay. No!
Ultimately, you showed no signs of sleepwalking.
Hazuki-san's reassuring voice conveyed that to me. Okay. I'm going to answer none of your questions. Leave me alone. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. So, did the next crime just occur? Not yet. The next one is the vampire, right? Yeah. Takumi, run! There he is. Whee! There's Yua. Phantasm. I wonder what would happen if you tried opening another ending whilst in the path of a different ending. I'm not gonna figure it out, but why do I get the feeling I'm about to just get into a murder pit? I just get this strange sensation. Let's find out. Before I knew it, I was slowly walking on a rooftop, all alone. The wind was extremely strong, blowing raindrops into me from the side. What's strange, though, was that I didn't feel cold. I remembered this place. Felt like I had been there many times before. Oh, I knew where it was now. This dreary scenery surrounded by a fence. It was a school rooftop. I took a look around me, but the rain had made everything so hazy I couldn't make anything out. It was surreal. It felt like the world itself had become blurred. Oh, hi. What? Beyond the haze, on the other side of the fence, was Fez. She was standing there facing me, and she was soaking wet. And she was looking straight at me, just like at the concert. In her right arm, just like before, she was gripping that sword-like mic stand tightly. The wind blowing from below sent Fez's soaked hair fluttering furiously in the air. If she even slightly lost her balance, she would definitely fall, and at this height, that would be a death sentence. Just looking at her made me stop dead in my tracks. And yet, despite where she was, Fez stood tall, without the slightest hint of fear in her eyes. On the verge of tears, Fez gently extended her left hand toward me. Let's jump off together. It was almost as if she was asking me to go with her, trying to seduce me. I couldn't give a response. I had no idea what to do. Fez said nothing back to me either. She just spread her arms out wide, taking on a pose as if she'd been crucified. Suddenly the rain and the wind stopped. I tried to say something, but I couldn't make a sound. Nothing would come out of my mouth. Fez's body slowly tilted backward. Everything seemed to be happening in slow motion. I tried to reach out toward Fez. But my own movements were in slow motion, too, so I could only look on in frustration as my arm slowly extended out in front of me. Fez was already covering her eyes. And not long after, her figure disappeared from my line of sight. Okay. Thanks. God, that's depressing. I've been getting lost in my own delusions as usual, but it had all gone pretty south quickly. Well, it just goes to show how strong the aura Fez gave off truly was. She sort of had the sense of ruinous beauty to her. That said, I didn't have the slightest fucking clue what ruinous beauty was. Supposed to mean. Well, okay, so well. In the end, I got sick from the size of the crowd at that concert, so I had to rush to leave the venue. As a result, I barely watched any of the performance at all, and honestly, I never wanted to go again. Well then, guess I'll log on to ESO or something. I'll rid me of this depression. Skip. Here we go. Whee. Oh, wait, what? What's this illusion? Negative. And then... Say, whose eyes are those eyes? The monitor was enveloped in a dazzling light. I'm in the game! Taken aback by how random and sudden was, I shut my eyes. Did you think I wouldn't notice? I heard a voice. I followed your orders ever since my conception. The voice was coming from the monitor. I didn't expect my player to be this much of a fool. Who are you? I tried opening my eyes, but the light from before had completely paralyzed me. I couldn't see a thing. I've had enough. I'm casting you out. I'll live freely from now on. No way. Are you Nightheart? What do you mean you're casting me out? I mean exactly that. This is exactly why you're such a fool. I'm the one that made your character. You're gonna rebel against me? Absolutely. I've long since run out of patience for you. Let the bearer of the lightning fast title be known only as a Chuni peasant. Do you truly grasp how it felt to be called such an abominable title? You may have thought you were cool, but from my perspective, you've been nothing more than an embarrassment. And yet I could never speak, so all I could do was endure it. Shut the hell up, you arrogant little shit. If you didn't take it back right now, you're getting deleted. Do as you wish. But know this. Just like you can delete me with a single press of the button, you too can be erased at the press of a button by the player controlling you. That is all your existence amounts to. What the heck? There's no way something like that would actually happen. I forced a laugh in response to my delusion and stared at Neihart. Just as always, he stood completely still and silent in the world of Baselard. I think I'll take things a bit easier today. With that thought in mind, I resumed my play session. Okay. Phone. Hello. Ow. You get to beat the shit out of me. Frog. Do. Board gear. This is different. What? Nishijo Nanami had a spring in her step. Fiddling with her cell phone, she hummed to herself as she walked. Having finally managed to drag her shut-in older brother out of the house and into the world, she had taken him to buy a cell phone. Upon selecting one and attaching a Garo Froggy strap to it, she had completed her mission, and now she was in a very good mood. It had been so long since I went somewhere with my big bro. It felt so refreshing to her. She was not entirely sure how many times they had gone out together in the past, and when she tried to recall, she found her memories far too hazy. As they were siblings, one would think they would spend time together fairly often, but that was not the case for them. Well, nothing wrong with a little date with my brother every now and then, right? It's a good chance to work on that gloomy attitude of his, and hopefully get him to be a bit nicer to us in the process. She continued to sort out her thoughts, and while waiting for the light to change at the scramble crossing, she took the opportunity to type out an email to her brother. Then the walk signal flickered on, and the swarm of pedestrians began moving once more. Nanami kept her eyes glued to the screen, letting the flow of the crowd carry her along. As one would expect, the flood of people in front of Shibuya Station made writing on an email while walking nearly impossible. Distracted, Nanami slammed into the shoulder of a passing middle-aged businessman, nearly knocking him over.
Sorry about that.
She bowed her head at the man, received a sharp glare in return, then slipped the phone back into her bag. She figured she should probably stop typing for now. She would have plenty of time on the train to do so. Hmm? Now a moment later, she noticed a familiar face among the human stampede passing through the ticket gate. It's... Rimi! In a cute outfit!
Hey, Rimi-san!
Sakihata Rimi was startled to see the girl who had called her name. She averted her eyes, her demeanor nowhere near as friendly as Nanami's. Paying no mind to this, Nanami closed the distance between them.
Long time no see, Rimi-san. Yeah, a long time no see.
She seemed strangely distant. Trying to figure out why that might be, Nanami guessed that Rimi might have been waiting on a date. She could say for sure it was not with her brother, though, given how he had left for his home just moments before.
How's my brother been treating you since then?
Given that her brother would rather wallow in his own filth than step out into society, it was easy to imagine he and Rimi did not talk very often. As she thought to herself, Nanami tilted her head. She felt a strange unease regarding the gaps in her memories.
Huh? Wait, what do I mean by since then?
Rimi didn't say a word. She simply gazed up awkwardly at the Jumbotron displaying Omura Carrera's newest music video. Nanami continued to dig through her memories, to find anything on Rimi, to find anything on her brother's relationship with Rimi. She should have known something. It seemed impossible for her to not to. And yet, her search returned fruitless. When she saw Rimi's face, her name came to mind, and she even called it out. However, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't find a single memory of the girl.
Hey, when did we first meet again? How do I know your name?
Despite her best efforts, it was as if the memory had completely slipped from her grasp. It was not even just on the tip of her tongue. No, everything was a total blank. She was awash with an awful sensation, and for some reason unfamiliar to her, her chest began to tighten.
Oh wow, Nachan, that stings. Did you really go and forget?
As if a switch had been flipped somewhere, the air of apprehensiveness completely vanished as Rimi turned to Nanami, smiling warmly.
Two of us met through Taku, remember? Come on, you're at school? You saw me with Taku and your jaw dropped and then you went like, holy crap, he's got a girlfriend! It's the end of the world! Huh? That's pretty funny. Did I really say something like that? Yeah, you totally did. Caught me so off guard that I'll never forget it.
Now she mentions it, Nanami thought. Maybe I really did say that. Still, a part of her insisted that it wasn't true. Not entirely convinced, but not really caring too much at the same time, she decided to forget about it for now.
So have you hung out with him at all lately? I'd see him around. We are classmates after all. Yeah, but he pretty much never goes to school. He's such a butt. Speaking of, next time you see him, kick his butt for me, will you? He always holds himself up in his room and he never listens to a thing I say. Will do. Well, gotta go. My mom will never stop lecturing me if I get home late. Okay, see you later.
Nanami waved goodbye to Rimi as she made her way toward the station. She still could not pin down a single memory of that girl, and she also found it strange that, despite the time of day, the girl had been wearing something casual instead of her uniform. Even so, there was much more pressing matter on her mind. Are Rimi and Takumi actually in a relationship? Yeah, no freaking way. Nanami cracked a wry smile at the very idea. Like she once said herself, that would be the end of the world. Interesting, that was a very big change. Yeah, that entire conversation never happened before. Chapter 3. I don't know if we'll be able to do an ending... Whoa, wait. Remembering Yu's words, I cautiously glanced over at the neighboring room 36. I made sure no one was there when I'd entered the cafe, and since I wasn't hearing any noise, it was probably still unoccupied. Didn't stop me from being anxious about the possibility, though. Hello? I got up and slowly peered over the divider, and I saw that room 36 was still empty. Relieved, I sank back into my recliner. Hello, Sana. Attack! Why do I feel like I didn't see the positive one here? I don't remember if I did or not, but we're gonna do positive. Girlby looked down at me coldly. Man, she was really close. Barely. No. You can see it, can't you? I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. Basically lowered my gaze. I think for a fact she's gonna accuse me of looking. I didn't see them, I swear. I swear to God. No, no. Do I need to mute it? Swear to God. Game? You're lying. You have to have seen. You've been glancing over and over for a while now. I didn't swear. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. No, 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 no. They're ready to become visible once again. Leave me alone. Refuse to take your eyes on me. She continued removing the sock. Yeah, no, 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 no. Stop this. Villainous behavior. Don't like it. No. I'll make you confess. What? No. Ew. No. The cult society we lived in. No. Ew. No. Skip this. Thank you. No likey. Answer me. You see it, don't you? The D-sword. Huh? Still wearing shoes. Gee. At any rate, a D-sword? The hell was that? First time I heard of that word. What is it? Uh-oh, wait. I was half expecting to see something relating to Nanami again. Also, I feel like we did negative here before, so unfortunately you know what's about to happen. Time to make things weird. There's already someone I like. Oh, really? Who's it? Could be me? The person over there. Over there? Over where? Who was she talking about? She wasn't pointing anywhere, nor doing anything that would clue us in as to who she was referring to. She just kept looking at me, and only me. Wait, was the person she liked me? You came to my concert the other night. Fez began to walk toward me, still refusing to avert her gaze. Surrounding it began a buzz. Everyone was listening in on the unexpected confession of Shibuya's famous songstress, Fez. So, I think there'd been a mistake. I came to the concert
from a single glance I knew.
No. No. No.
You're a companion chosen by fate.
Don't like you. Don't like you.
Made my decision. I will.
No. What the hell is going on? Why is it? Isuke was so utterly mortified upon losing me that he came crashing down his knees, crestfallen. Am I gonna say in this?
No.
Do you not want me?
I don't know. Why you? I was being swept away by a river of temptation. If I got married a beautiful girl like her, I'd win in my life right then and there. Lark Pine. Why'd that ever happen? While I was over here drowning in my moronic delusions, Fez was murmuring something in a low voice, only to up and disappear soon after. You've lost your touch, Daisuke. Damn it. Misumi-kun was sulking, having been completely and utterly disregarded. Stop it! Shut up! I don't even bother trying and again with any social bitch like her. God damn it, this sucks ass. What was up with that finest sword shit anyway? Made no sense. Sword? Yeah, that's what Kishimoto was going on about. Were you listening? Find a sword. If you do, you'll be granted salvation or something like that. Salvation? Hey, Taku, are there any Phantasm songs with lyrics like that? Sword? Could that be referring to the mic stand thing that she'd been using during the concert? Come to think of it, there had been another person a couple days ago that interrogated me about a sword. There we go. Hello, you two. We're still in chapter 3, I think. Oh boy. I don't remember what this is about then. Positive. No, I did positive before, I guess. Gotta try and remember to do negative next time. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Remy. I for some reason thought this was a negative delusion. I don't know why. You know what I'm thinking of? The clothing. The clothing was a negative delusion thing for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm pretty sure it was. Did we go into chapter 4? I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest with you. URL not found. I saw Hatano again. Sail. So I wonder if the story's gonna be shorter now because of doing a different ending. Like, because it says that the story's going to start becoming a lot more different once we get to chapter 6, is what the guide says. So I'm wondering if that's like, if it's gonna be only 7 chapters or whatever, or 6 chapters. But positive. I'm already very scared here. It'd be nice to transfer student were some holy messenger sent here to protect me and slay the demon. Whoever Remy was, I had no doubt she was dangerous. My life was being eroded, and I knew that for a fact. Unless things change, I'd be a dead man walking.
That's why I'm here.
Suddenly a transfer student turned her gaze toward me and whispered that. No way.
Takumi-kun, I'm here for blood. The demon girl's my target.
Even though the transfer student's eyes were welling with tears, they were also filled with determination. Despite her timid appearance, I felt like I could trust her. There was no doubt that from an outsider's perspective, her words were blatantly nonsensical. I was the only person in the sea of confused people who wasn't perplexed by her first words. In fact, I was screaming for joy. Internally, of course. I'm saved. No doubt an exorcist organization sent this girl to dispose of me. Fuck yeah, kill that bitch.
Don't let her trick you.
Mimi's panicked voice rang from behind me.
It's not like she's after me, it's you. Don't listen to her. Since you're a deception demon, this is the end for you. You're a demon here.
Both you shut up. I know I didn't care who the real demon was, nor who my real ally was. I want to spend my life watching Bloodtoon playing these so every day, and I'm happy with that life. I could give less of a damn what you two do. In fact, we better do me a favor and just kill each other. Yeah, that cliche where two warriors hit each other at the same time and both of them die. Following those words, I could feel rising unease spread throughout the room. A transfer student whose name I didn't know, and a demon girl who had only been in this class since the day before yesterday. Each glaring daggers at each other from their own separate corners of the room, the tension between them burning like a fuse trailing toward a pack of TNT. The homeroom teacher and the rest of the students were on the edge of their seats, watching intently as the events unfolded.
Fine, I'll do as Taku says. I have no objections. I'll put you rest, assassin. Now I'll send you back to hell, Miss Demon.
Oh god. They both spring into action. Hello. Of course, something like that would never actually happen. The transfer student remained as sheepish as ever, not uttering so much as a beep. Remy also didn't say a word. In fact, she didn't give any indication that she was here at all. Scattered whispers grew to murmurs as the transfer student maintained her silence. So in order to comfort her, the teacher placed his hand on her shoulder. Ora Kazue, go take your seat. Is she gonna say something different? I'm law of one tension. It's all lost for words. What should I do?
Hey, you over here.
Huh?
Are you bad? If you are, then Kozubi okay with killing you.
Transfer student walked right by my seat. Taken aback, I glanced at her face. Our eyes met, only for her to immediately avert her gaze and continue walking. What was that voice? No doubt it had been another one of my delusions. I've been feeling overwhelmed by them lately, almost as if reality and delusions were blending. Still lacking the courage to turn around, my body stiffened even further, squeezing inward in my seat. I tried to focus on staying completely still, desperately trying to avoid drawing Rimi's attention. Okay. And... skip! There we go. Why does it sound like I got smacked in the head? I don't think I did positive here. I don't think so. I guess I go ahead and listen to it. It's me. Who? It's not like I just called you because I want to hear your voice or anything like that, okay? I was just free and didn't have anything else to do, so I just felt like it. Got it? But now that we're in different classes and all, we don't really get to talk that often. So I was wondering, what do you think of me? Like, have you ever thought about confessing to me? Oh, but it's not like it'd make me happy or something if you did that. And besides, chances of me saying yes are like 1 in a million. But don't you think that nothing will ever happen unless you at least try and make a move? So just go up here and tell me, alright? Got it? Alright, I'll be waiting for you under the Tree of Legends after school. If you gotta hurry up and come quickly, don't blame me for what happens if you don't. What? What? I mean, it could happen. Just kidding. I fucking wish so. Lol. There's no Tree of Legends or whatever the fuck this at the school. Lol. It was a tsundere supposed to be anyway. Personality settings were pretty lackluster. I should have at least made her more like Seroton. This wasn't a time to be indulging my delusions, was it? Feeling empty inside, I decided to listen to the actual voice message. Scan my surroundings, making sure Demon Girl was there, put phone up to my ear, and started. We're starting to get close to the point where, the story should shift, though, aren't we? I think I need to do positive here, because I haven't seen it yet. You are the millionth customer! Ow, I just smashed my hand! No one came out. Maybe there really wasn't anyone here. Fine, if that was the case, then I grabbed the boxed lunch off the counter and head straight for the automated door. Just steal. I stood in front of the door as it automatically opened, but just as I was about to step outside... Wait! The employee finally emerged from the back room behind the cash register. He's a bleary, gloomy-looking guy, most likely a college student. He leaned over the counter and glared at me with dull eyes. You just tried to shoplift, didn't you? I shrugged my shoulders and walked back to the register. Yeah, that's because you didn't come out. So, let's catch some Z's. The employee bowed his head with a shitting grin. I felt like he was mocking me. I was pissed. The convenience store clearly didn't give a shit about training its part-timers. Oh hell, I can just go ahead and take this for free, yeah? What? How's that in any way related? It's your responsibility, so you pay for it. Fuck off, you fucking neat. Son of a... Swung at him without thinking. An incredibly fast straight punch sent him square in the nose. With a pathetic yelp, he flew backwards, collided with the shelf, then fell to the ground. A magnificent punch, if I do say so myself. Zoe! His blood gushed from his nose. The employee got down on his hands and knees and bowed with tears in his eyes. Forget about the money, please, just leave. Glad you know your place. While I was at, I swiped 4 of the dorayaki that were on display by the register and headed for the door satisfied. Good luck ever seeing me again here, asshole. Throwing out that line to get the perfect last word, I leisurely exited the store. Turn it off. Several minutes had passed while I was having my delusion. Still no sign of any employees. I had no intention of staining my hands with a Dokun behavior, despite my delusion just now. That being said, I also couldn't bring myself to yell out for an employee either, so I just stood there in the deserted store without moving. I wanted to believe that the employee was just taking a nap, so I waited for another 5 minutes. But while I waited, no employee showed up, nor did any customers enter the store. Wasn't even as much of a sound. Here we go. Hello, Shogun. Whee. Hello, Rimi. Smash. And then chapter 5? 4. Why did I think it was 5? I thought we were in chapter 4. Sorry. Yeah, I did think we were in chapter 4. That's what I meant to say. Yes. Ow. Nice. Nice job. Falling apart. I don't remember what I did here. I'm going to assume positive. I should work up some courage and act natural. Morning, Sakihata-san.
Yep, morning.
Alright, first contact went well. But just when I started to feel relieved, Rimi tilted her head to the side with a frown.
Hey, Taku, why are you talking to me all weird like that?
Weird?
Yeah, like the Sakihata-san. Feels kind of formal, you know? It's something like you normally do.
Like I normally did? But I didn't even know what that was. Okay, Rimi.
Yeah? What's up, Taku?
Nothing much, really.
Alright then, I got something to tell you.
Rimi cleared her throat, looked around the room, and brought her face close to mine.
Taku, don't go and become like Daichi, alright? Playboy like him is bound to get hurt real badly someday.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep that in mind.
Cool, cool. Really like how honest you are, Taku.
She liked something about me. Huh. In other words, from Rimi's POV, I was the honest, neutral character archetype.
For starters, there's just one thing about Daichi I absolutely can't stand. He talks to all these girls left and right, but he won't even so much as look at me. Isn't that so awful?
Huh? You want him to hit on you? I guess that wasn't surprising. He was a total alpha in terms of looks, and he was fun to talk to. Even if you stuck him with a penalty for being a playboy, he'd probably still be the type any girl would like to go out with. Despite what I thought she was talking about, Rimi frowned and shook her head.
Taku, that's a real mean joke. I get these really nasty chills all over just thinking about him hitting on me.
She wrapped her arms around herself and made a big show out, pretending to shiver.
Yeah, that's a no from me. But how do I put this? It's not like I don't have some pride as a girl, yeah? Hey, Taku, what do you think about me? Am I attractive?
You're asking me something that's a real hard to answer.
Huh? Am I?
And it didn't help that her eyes were twinkling and she was clearly bursting with anticipation. That's of course I thought she was attractive, but it'd take a lot of courage to say out loud.
No one likes to admit to them.
It's mistakes made because of youth. What? Also, there are a lot of things here. Gentiana Scabra, having lived more than twice as long as the 7 other Gigglomaniacs, Neurose's disorder has evolved into a far more brutal, distorted form in proportion to the amount of time he has lived. The reason why Neurose's disorder has taken on such a hideous form, even without the crucial fictions, is because it is a manifestation of his negative emotions, and at the root of those emotions are his warped beliefs and sense of justice, his desire to rule over the weak, and his hatred of the world. So that's why his thing looks like that. Short for the full quote, no one likes to admit to the mistakes they've made because of their youth. A quotation from an extremely popular mecha anime series, often followed up with the various lines about youth, such as, that's what it is to be young. What's a mech anime? I don't know. Mech anime? I don't really know much about anime in general, period, so I'm not the best at asking these things. Only two things come to mind, potentially, which is... I don't even know, is Gundam technically an anime? I mean, I know there's, like, games of it, but I don't know if it's primarily video games or anime. The other one that comes to mind is, for some reason, I've heard of it a little bit before. Is it called... What's it called? Gurren Lagann? I want to say that's what it's called. Why'd I just get an achievement? Ryaju, delusion synchro rate 0%. Yeah, wait, you are not delusional in the slightest. Your personality may be a bit too pragmatic, but you lead a very fulfilling life. You're adept at socializing, you have many friends, and you've had many romantic relationships, and you're doing very well in work and school. You're most likely living a life in which delusions aren't even necessary. I can't possibly understand why someone like you would want to play a game like this. Please continue to live your happy, fulfilling life in the three-dimensional world. I'm sure there are many fun, exciting things ahead of you. Word from Sumi. Whenever you see someone grin because they got some delusion running through their head, don't call them a freak. Instead, treat them like a friend. If you do that, chicks will dig you even more because they think you're a nice guy and you'll be even more likable. Oh, this is for... Oh, it's for the friggin' paper thing. The thing that I answered no questions to. I was wondering, like, what am I getting this for? I was so confused, like, what? Okay.
Gotcha.
Rimi smiled triumphantly. Is she actually an otaku? There's no way. I smiled a bitter smile in defeat. But even though the conversation was completely normal, I found myself having a lot of fun. Up till now, I'd almost never had this kind of conversation with a girl before. I didn't know why, but it felt like we clicked well together. Which is why I was able to say what came next so naturally. No doubt about it. You're attractive, Rimi.
What? What?
Rimi exaggeratedly threw her head backwards, and her face instantly turned beet red.
When you see my face like that, I can't help but blush. But thanks. It makes me really happy to hear you say that, Taku. Like 100 million trillion times having an idea if Daichin hit on me like that.
There's no such thing as 100 million trillion, though.
Oh, come on, you get the idea. This tells you how big the happiness scale is.
And it's gone. And it's gone. So that's what it is to be young. If only I could have had that kind of conversation daily. Every day of my life would be fun and fulfilling, and how I saw the world would change completely. But at the end of the day, that was just an illusion. The me in reality couldn't even make contact with Rimi. I just kept my head down, didn't move, and stayed silent. I despised my own cowardice, and so I was hit with a fierce wave of depression.
Taku?
Rimi, who had been silent the entire time, finally called out to me, albeit hesitantly. But I couldn't respond to her due to how sudden it was. To her, it probably felt like I was ignoring her. In my head, I knew I couldn't keep acting like this, but in the end, I still couldn't get myself to do anything.
Are you okay?
This time I nodded frantically. Probably made me look pretty suspicious.
Okay, glad to hear it.
Rimi's voice was gentle. I could hardly believe it, but she seemed like she was going to continue patiently being with me, even though I was being silent. Are you okay, was what she'd said. I felt the sudden urge to ask her something. I wanted to ask, back when we met in front of 107, what did it look like to you? Whee! Hello, Kozue. Hello, Daichin. What does Chin mean? I feel like I've never heard Chins before, specifically. Daichin. I don't think I've done positive here. I'm just gonna assume positive. Alright, let's see what it is. I'm actually stopped dead in my tracks. Thoughts ran through my head frantically. If I ran away, what would she do? Would she swing her D-sword at me while she chased me? When I tried to envision it happening, it freaked me out way too much, so I hurriedly shook the illusion out of my head. Conversely, what if I were to just walk straight in instead? she would get a much better impression of me, and maybe then she wouldn't be so violent. Maybe she'd even be in good enough of mood that she'd be interested in selling her D-sword to me. I didn't think she'd give it up that easily, but maybe I could at least get her to tell me where she bought it from. On top of that, she seemed to have been waiting for me. In other words, that meant she'd taken some form of interest in me. She looked scary, but as often was the case with tsundere types, she might have actually been pretty nice in reality. That could just be wishful thinking, though. And again, it wasn't like I was going to get cold just because I went inside. Surely that was true. We were right in the middle of Shibuya, after all. Right in front of the Hachiko statue. There were tons of people surrounding us. Killing me in public in front of all of them would have been suicide. I took a single deep breath, gathered my resolve, and then stepped into the train. Yay! And it's all the same from here. Hello! And it's all good. Well, it didn't really lead to anything interesting, to be honest with you. Hello, you. I don't think I did positive for either of these. If I didn't do as she said, Yua would kill me. Believing that would happen, I didn't resist and just nodded along. Oh, great. Here we go. Now's not the time to be deluding.
There was something I had to tell you no matter what it took. I like you. I really like you. Do you understand? I love you. You need to understand. I want you to be mine. Please.
I thought that confessions were supposed to be romantic, heartrending, and happy. This wasn't like that. This was terrifying. Every word had sent chills down my spine. A situation like this, I'd normally confess my love as well, but here it felt like I'd be signing my own death sentence if I did. I had no choice but to be clear and refuse. This girl was nothing more than a stalker. If I didn't refuse her here and now, I'd be totally fucked. I forcibly shook off Yua's hand. I refuse. I'm gonna hand you over to the police. Yua's expression became tense, as if in shock. She hung her head, and her demeanor instantly turned timid.
To think you hate me that much. I'm sorry. I'll stay away from you from now on. Goodbye, Nishijo-kun.
She pulled herself away and turned her back to me. Her shoulders drooped. And then she shakily walked out of the private room. I said it. I'd said it. Seeing you crying like that actually made me feel relieved. I couldn't help but be happy that I'd finally been freed of that stalker, so much so that I unconsciously stuck out a victory pose. And it's done. I suddenly come back to myself. Since life was never that easy, Yua was right in front of me, covering my mouth.
Yes, Nishijo-kun.
She was murmuring something in a quiet whisper. I hadn't heard what she said at all. I'd been busy escaping from reality. How nice it would have been if that delusion had been real. With no way for my wish to come true, Yua continued to talk.
But please, please let me just say one thing. I don't want to see you get hurt anymore, nor do I want you to be unhappy. But I also don't want you to make any more people unhappy either.
What was she talking about? She was talking as if she knew everything about me. Despite the fact that we haven't even spent 24 hours together. Just the hell does this girl actually know about me? Was this just another one of her signature batshit insane delusions? A shudder ran through me, and I started flailing my arms and legs. But even so, Yua didn't let go. If this went on for much longer, this girl might actually kill me. Had Shogun given up on trying to trap me and had just sent Yua as an assassin instead? I didn't want to die.
I'm sorry, but please, just be quiet. I'm almost done.
The tone of her voice was meek, but the power behind Yua's hands as she held me down was so strong. Even if I tried to resist, she wouldn't budge an inch. I couldn't believe that such slender hands could be so powerful.
Nishijo-kun.
Yua inched her face closer and closer to mine. I desperately turned my head away.
Please.
And the evil once more reverberates. The police! Be positive! No, I had to be imagining things. There's no way the police would suspect me of anything. I wasn't a murderer. I wouldn't hurt a fly. Forget that for now. I'd just take a break for a little bit longer. My chest still hadn't stopped pounding. For no particular reason, I looked up at the night sky as my shallow breathing continued. I couldn't see any stars. The glaring artificial light that shone above the ground cast a thin veil across the Shibuya sky. It blocked out even the faintest light of the stars that had traveled for decades, for centuries to get here, transforming the night sky into a flat and motionless blackness. What a piece of shit sky. But that was normal for Shibuya. For someone living in Shibuya, this sky was my sky. I returned my gaze to the policeman from earlier, and I jumped. The policeman was coming toward me. I had to avoid making eye contact. I stood up and turned my eyes to the road stretching out under the overpass. The footsteps were getting closer. I prayed from the bottom of my heart that they would pass by me. But...
Gimme.
Excuse me. A voice called out. One was clearly directed at me. Can I have a moment? And my heartbeat, which had only just started to calm down, began to violently pound in my chest once more. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Can't say it looks like it. What reason could this cop have possibly had for talking to me? I started putting a list together inside my head. 1, because I'm alone at night in an unusual place. 2, because I look suspicious. 3, because they're just questioning people at random. 4, because the police think I'm a suspect for the new Gen case. Do you have any ID on you? Oh, I know. You have a student handbook, don't you? You mind showing it to me? Damn it, I didn't have time for this. I need to hurry up and hide somewhere less conspicuous. If I didn't, you would find me again. If I ran away from the cops, I could get arrested for obstruction of justice. Not only that, but if they were investigating me because of reason 4, then bolting would put me in an even worse position. Regardless of the circumstances, I had to get past this cop, and I had to do it fast. With no other options, I took my student handbook out from inside my uniform pocket and handed it to the officer. The officer took it and flipped it to open to check my name and photo. Immediately after, something changed in his face. His expression stiffened. What? What was up with him? Did my name really warrant that kind of reaction? Maybe I really am a new gen suspect. Police were mistaken. I hadn't done anything. You had made up her mind and decided that I was a new gen culprit. She said I just wasn't aware of it. That couldn't be true. I didn't sleepwalk. I didn't have multiple personalities. Stop screwing with my head. Thank you for your time. To my surprise, the policeman readily returned my handbook to me. He then quickly turned it back around and headed toward the park, almost as if he was running. How he was acting spoke far louder than words. I had a terrible feeling about this. Did they actually suspect me? I stared at the officer's back, frozen. Then the policeman suddenly gave a light bow to the man sitting on the bench. Or at least that was what it looked like. Something's off. Was it just my imagination? I knew for a fact that he looked at the man on the bench. But I couldn't figure out if he'd actually bowed to him, or if it just looked like he had. The policeman had left the park directly after that. The man on the bench looked like he was still messing with his cell phone. Looked like being the keywords. It didn't even look like his fingers were moving. I couldn't see him clearly because of the darkness. Normally the cell phone screen would be glowing, but the one he was holding was completely dark. Something's really off here. I looked around to check on everyone else in the park. One of the homeless people was slouching on the ground at the base of a large tree, a spot that was far removed from the others. I need to drink water real quick, sorry. Ah, much better. He didn't move in the slightest. All he did was hold up a strange sign, his face staring down on the ground. Hatano, hello! The 3 or so homeless people squatting in front of the small hut covered by a blue tarp didn't seem to be having much of a conversation. They were just sitting around in a circle. One of them had their hand over their mouth. It almost seemed like they were doing it deliberately, like they were trying to cover their mouth with their hand in a collar or something. Or at least that was what it looked like. I don't know why exactly, but something feels off. There was a strange sense of tension seizing the air. Granted, it could have been my imagination, but... Hold on. Was it possible that everyone was an undercover cop? That delusion floated up to the top of my head, and I shuddered. I frantically told myself that it was nothing more than that, a delusion. But even if it wasn't, I didn't want to stay here any longer. Time to run. I broke into a sprint. I ran across the overpass and headed for the stairs leading down to Meijidori. I stopped right in front of them and whipped around to look behind me. The man on the bench was getting up. None of the other people moved. His body turned toward me, but his head was facing sideways. He was making his way toward me. He seemed to be walking a little faster than someone normally would. He was chasing me. That man was a detective. His build was unusually bulky. I didn't even know what his job could be otherwise. I couldn't figure out anything from his appearance alone. Can't tell if he's a detective just from that. No, he had to be one. There was no way he wasn't. He was tailing me. I couldn't stay here. I bolted down the stairs. Shit. That wasn't just you that was after me, but the police too. I hadn't done anything wrong. I hadn't done anything at all. Should I just tell him I was innocent? But even if I did, I couldn't get away from the fact that I was literally running away from the police right now. Besides, I was sure the police would find some way to pin on me regardless. They would never believe an otaku freak like me. I didn't have time to think about what would happen next. For now, I just need to get away from you and the police. That was the sole thought occupying my mind. And skip. Yippee! Oh god. I'm scared what's about to happen. Okay. Let's see what the negative one is, because I'm almost positive I did the positive one last time. As Mitsumi-kun had said before, Fess really did— Stop it. 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 Oh, wait just a second here. Hang it. No. 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 No, it's gonna happen again. But this time with a different outfit. No. Go away. I thought that said Kishi Wodo for a second. I was very confused. Like, did that get a misspelling? Wearing only a squill swimsuit. Stop it! Actually, a swimsuit's not terrible. Swimsuit, you can just go to a beach and see. What? For staying right beside— How is this the— This should be swapped with the pod— What? Well, I don't know. One of them was wearing a swimsuit. They didn't look alike. Just shut up. I prefer the pajamas from the original. Shut up, both of you. And get out of my sight. What the hell's happening? Hello, Ban. My sanity is fracturing at the seams. You think there's an ending where we can save Ban? Probably not. I'm pretty sure this conversation is the exact same. I'm just kind of like skim reading it. Alright. It's just the same. It's just one of them's wearing a swimsuit now. So great. The outfits that you get are underwear, bathing suit, and pajamas. Nothing to do with it. Go away! Did you say tropes? Stores? I thought it said, is it because it's heavily filled with tropes? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I completely misread that. You are making me very uncomfortable. First of all, there's two of you, which doesn't make sense. Second of all, one of you is wearing just a swimsuit. Put some clothes on. Hello again, Ban. I refuse to say hi to the guy on the left because he's a bad person. Hello, depressing. Chapter 5. So the next chapter is when things should start being pretty different, supposedly. I swear to God, I'm gonna get jump scared by freaking naked... naked Ayase. I don't even remember what one I did here. Negative it is. I don't remember. I left the classroom and started heading toward the school entrance. But partway there, I changed my mind and instead turned and headed toward the building where the first-year classrooms were located. Did I get it right? Was I right to check the negative one? For some reason, I thought I picked positive, but oh well. It works in my favor. I figured it might be a better idea to avoid the entrance I usually took. I couldn't rule out the possibility that Shogun and Yua were lying in wait to ambush me. So I opted to leave using a different route. I made my way to the first-year building via the breezeway. The final bell had already rung a little bit ago, so while the students on cleaning duty or doing club shit were still around, basically everyone who opted to go straight home had already had. School had always felt somewhat lonely, or even wistful after the final bell rang. No matter where I went, it always felt that way. Whether it were the ancient buildings made out of wood or newer structures like Suime. Well, not that I'd ever set foot in any wooden school buildings in anything other than Eroge. Regardless, the school's interior was simmering under a thick veil of silence. I walked quickly down the hall, surrounded by that silence, trying my best to keep my footsteps as quiet as possible. The second okay. Typically, I kept my head low while I walked, but since there weren't any other students, I opted to keep my eyes focused on what was ahead of me. This allowed me the chance to survey my environment, ensuring that there were no suspicious figures lurking about. I heard something. A sound. What was that? I feel like I've heard it before. Immediately after I heard it, I saw something across the hallway of the first-year building in front of me. It was an empty wheelchair. The video of the group dives I'd watched yesterday resurfaced in my mind. A chill ran down my spine, and I froze. The wheelchair finished crossing the hallway, and then it disappeared from sight. Okay. And right after it did, I heard an insanely loud sound. Silence settled back on the campus. I took a second to catch my breath, and then I looked in the direction where the sound had come from. What was that just now? Why was there a wheelchair in school? Not to mention no one sitting in it. The crash I heard at the end was probably the sound of the wheelchair falling down the stairs, but the noise it made, it probably must have taken a fair deal of damage. Wouldn't surprise me if it had been rendered practically unusable. I quickly looked around me. Rather than being calm, the silence only made my fear skyrocket. At least I knew I couldn't see anyone moving from my current position. However, I felt a gaze. Don't look at me. Oh god, Shogun. He had come here to the school? Why'd he come here? Was it me with you? With me? I took a step back and nearly toppled over. However, I somehow managed to keep my balance. I was thoroughly creeped out. Was he trying to harass me? Why wasn't he showing his face? It would have been so much more bearable if he just showed himself. I was hit with an intense wave of nausea. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Covering my mouth, I moved back to where I'd come from. Alright, go out and throw up. Yippee! Yippee! Thank you, Remy. I think I did negative here last time. So positive it is. Remy's cheeks flushed slightly in embarrassment. And then, having seemingly made up her mind, she whispered something to me.
I'll let you do whatever you want to me.
Huh? When I understood the meaning behind her words, my brain stopped computing. I couldn't tell if she was joking or being serious. I tried to look away, but before I could...
Get down.
Oh, what? I obey her. No, 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 no,
Down straight in your leg.
no. Direct on the floor. No. Stop myself from sliding. No. No. No likey. Get away from me. Reed put her index finger on my lips. She wanted me to stay quiet, evidently. Doing something like this inside a store. She read my mind. Remy started giggling.
It's the indie music corner. I mean, music customers come back here. If you stay low like this, no one will notice us.
What was she implying?
Hitaku?
Remy moved her face in even closer. Ah, converts my gaze. Spell. Remy was staring straight at me, just as I was at her. As we stared at each other, Remy's hands began to move. She started undoing my— No! Keep your clothes on! No! No! Hey, people are gonna see!
You're right. It'd be very, very bad if someone saw us.
Despite what she just said, Remy's slender hand continued to move. Stop! 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 So cheerful and energetic. Heart's pounding. No! No! I say that out loud. The alone shaking I really was. Is that me, I wonder? Will you tell me to? No!
No, don't like it. It's still just the same photo from before, but I'm scared it's gonna change into something I don't want to show. And should I no, go away. Does she mean do what? Okay, thank goodness.
Hello?
Suddenly, I came back to myself. Rumi was waving her hand in front of my face, her eyebrows furrowed in confusion. I wasn't sitting on the floor, and Rumi wasn't on top of me. We were just standing there, facing each other like people normally did.
What's wrong? Looked like I lost you somewhere for a second there.
No, nothing.
Whoa, calm down.
I took a step back from Mimi, turned my back to her, and took a deep breath. Holy shit. That was so fucked up. Actually, forget that. Remy was the one talking about giving me something in return. You'd see that line in an infinite number of H-teens. Any guy who'd even dipped his toes into the genre would have had his imagination go wild. Anyway, what was she actually planning to do for me?
So I think you weren't listening, huh?
Sorry.
I'll ask again. Can I do something for you? Could you lend me a CD I really want to listen to?
Huh?
You don't mind, right? Come on, I promise to make it up to you.
Life was a cruel mistress. Though I suppose it was my fault for expecting anything. Come to think of it, well, I wasn't supposed to be into 3D girls at all, and yet I just had a delusion about doing that with Remy. Why? Because you're a psychopath. No, you're not a psychopath. You're just very weird. Although, on second thoughts, let's just move on. I feel like I'm falling apart at the seams, pulling apart at the peams, rolling a roms and a reams. Stop! Don't show me! Jump scare! Swimsuit. Leave me alone, swimsuit, Kishimoto. Leave me alone. I can see the damn sword. Leave me alone. It's probably just jumping to conclusions. Positive. Leaving Rumi to stare at the PC screen with her eyebrows furrowed, I picked up the toy D-sword sitting in the corner of my room. I went to stand in the center of my room and brought my sword to eye level like I was an ESO character. I closed my eyes. I tried to conjure the image of a sword in my mind. I naturally imagined it to be something similar to the beautiful, sinister swords that Seina and Ayase had, each complete with the sharpness that they sever anything it touched. Having delusions was my specialty. After all, I had all sorts of delusions on a daily basis. If I wanted to, I could recreate every single detail both vividly and clearly in my mind. Once the image was as precise as it was going to get, I planted my feet, gritted my teeth, and tried grasping the sword with the power I now held in my hands. Become real. Become real. Become real. Prayed inside my head, devoting all my thoughts toward that one single wish. What I'm holding is a real D-sword. It's not fake. It's real. I fused the strength of my entire being into the blade. Come on, reveal yourself to me. Grant me salvation. Protect me. I slowly opened my eyes. The sword I was holding hadn't changed whatsoever. It was still the same cheap-ass toy. Yeah, why'd I expect anything else? There's no such thing as an evil eye-esque psychic power that turned delusions into reality. Way too chuny. What was I, 5? I felt ashamed to have ever thought I held such power. Heaving a long sigh, I lowered the sword. But right as I did, I sensed a gaze behind me. I could feel chills on the back of my neck. Goosebumps rose across the entirety of my body. The gaze again? It was a clear sign. A sign that, right at that moment, someone was watching me. Don't look at me. I was going to turn around. Like I'd ever turn around. Not only had I sensed a presence, but I heard a voice as well. Though to be precise, it hadn't exactly been a voice. It had been closer to a sigh. Don't tell me. I might have made a terrible mistake. I slowly, ever so slowly, turned around. And there was Remy staring right at me. So that was it. No wonder his sense of presence had been more intense than usual. Granted, that only made sense, considering I wasn't just feeling like I was being watched. I was being watched. This is definitely going to get confusing. Oh god, have Remy seen me go full Chunibyo, brandishing a sword and all that from the start to finish? I was gonna die from embarrassment. Except something was off about her. Rimi's brow furrowed, and she stared at me without blinking even once. However, it wasn't me she was looking at, but the object I held, the toy D-sword. Why she looked so serious? I felt like she was an entirely different person from the one that had been getting all confused about pants earlier. Because she knows, by choosing this option, she's seeing Takumi, like, trying to get the D-sword, and it's pissing her off because she doesn't want Takumi to get a D-sword, because it would hurt the real Takumi. An unpleasant memory flashed through my mind. Rimi was on my side. She was supposed to be. However, I still hadn't solved the mystery surrounding her. Did Rimi know something about D-swords? With a gulp, I nervously called out to her.
Taku.
Her gaze still fixated on me. Rimi opened her mouth. Her voice was stifled, devoid of any and all emotion.
About that sword.
Rimi was my ally, wasn't she? She wouldn't betray me like you did, would she? If even Rimi betrayed me,
You should throw it away.
Why should I? My voice nearly cracked. Did Rimi know something after all?
Because...
Rimi's gaze finally moved, but this time it landed squarely on my eyes. I hurriedly averted my own. What was she going to say?
Because... You're supposed to be a high schooler.
Huh? Rimi suddenly broke out into a grin, a very mischievous grin. The abrupt change in demeanor left me speechless.
I mean, I can understand that boys love toys and stuff no matter how old they get, but... I'm not really sure that since you swinging around such a huge toy alone in your room. Isn't it more like something you do in elementary school? Oh, but even then, I'm kind of happy you're comfortable enough around me to show me your hobbies, Taku. Feels like you're telling me a secret only I can know.
What the hell, man? I got all scared for no reason. Okay, there we go. Whee! Okay, this is a positive delusion I think we need to make.
Flag trip.
Oh god, no! No, go back! Back! I don't want to see... I was at a loss about what to do, so I was just so... No. No. I'm afraid. I'm very glad I... Where's your clothes go? What the hell? What the hell? My mind went completely blank. I couldn't keep up with the sudden and outrageous turn of events. I couldn't even lift a finger. The shock had rendered me unable to speak.
Something wrong?
In the blink of an eye, Rimi had stripped off her school jacket, and not just that, but upon looking closer look, she removed her skirt too. So her extreme outfit wasn't enough. She had been hugging her knees, making it look like she was completely commando. Her words. This very moment, Rimi, who was sitting right next to me with her head tilted and her eyes on me, was covering her arm with nothing more to start. Titled The Unrelenting Emily Sensei. With her chat rather scene though, and his eyes like I was experiencing right now. I think that's something straight out of Oroge was actually happening in reality. Where Oroge is that from? Is this an illusion? An illusion? Or was it legit? Stop! Don't zoom in! No! No! Stop it! Go away! No! Not down! No! Stop it! Look away! Put some clothes on! I don't want to get in trouble. Go away! Put some clothes on! Rimi called my name in a sickly sweet voice. My eyes are now permanently glued to her body. It's the first time I'd ever seen a physically mature girl up close. Is Rimi trying to suits me? If so, I had to admit I wasn't a fan of how shameless she got. I guess I preferred the love to come from a subtle, nurturing, platonic affection. Once graduation arrived, the love was coming to fruition with a bashful confession broken under a oak of legends. Having mustered so much courage to say that to me, she then cried tears of joy as I said yes, slings a kiss, and I wanted that the way current things were going was far from platonic.
I'm really thirsty. Do you have anything to drink?
Unable to hide that. No! What did I have? Was there anything in the fridge? It's half-finished cola, but I drank directly from the bottles, but probably wouldn't be the best idea to give it to Rimi.
If you don't have anything, I can go buy something. There's a convenience store over by Shinsen Station, right?
I felt Remy stand up behind me.
I'll be right back.
What? She was leaving. I finally turned around to see Remy, still dressed in that shameless outfit, opening a door to head outside. I'm glad that I had the foresight to look away. She was gonna go to a convenience store where people could see her naked. Was Remy an exhibitionist or something?
Exhibitionist.
Hearing that behind me literally made me jump in the air and land my ass. There stood Remy, who should have been and just about to leave the room. Not only that, but she was wearing her usual outfit, and it was all fully on. She looked at me with wide eyes. What?
Jeez, you really made me jump out of my skin. Don't scream like that. Been acting weird for a while now. You started mumbling something that to yourself, and right when I noticed that, you suddenly let out this huge scream. What's going on?
Why was Remy there now? She should have just been about to leave the container. Had the half-naked Remy been a delusion? She felt so real. I hadn't touched her, but merely looking at her skin made me think how squished she is. Wait, what the hell was I saying? I was losing my mind today. I am too.
Taku?
I cringed when she called me my name. Does she hate me now? What would I do if she already fed up with me? If Remy wouldn't stay with me, I wouldn't be able to go out alone anymore.
I'm really thirsty.
Huh?
Do you have anything to drink?
She asked me the exact same thing as before. However, rather than that sultry tone from before, her voice was perfectly normal now. I shook my head from side to side. Remy poked her temple with her index finger and pursed her lips in thought.
If you don't have anything, I can go out and buy something. There's a convenience store over by Shinsen Station, right? I'll be right back.
I can only watch her leave in a daze. She was going to the convenience store in a uniform, which was completely normal. The half-naked Remy before really had been a delusion. I felt a mixture of both relief and slight disappointment. But I got half-naked Remy, I gotta say in too. Stop it! How could I attain a D-sword? Leave me alone, evil delusions. Hello. And sword. And machinery murder. What the hell was up with her acting so sexual before? Felt way too real to be called a hallucination. Stop! No! Go away! Oh! I want to see it. Put some clothes on. What? Positive. My vision suddenly went pitch black. I felt something push against my eyes. The hell?
Who is it?
No fucking way. The Who Is It game. I basically won. Hang on, calm down. There's no way I countered the urban legend in the third dimension, surely. What was I thinking? It wasn't an illusion. It had to be. I mean, it was an urban legend. I guess something that... AKA something that nobody could confirm the existence of. Almost had me there. I had to regain my composure. If this was an illusion, I wanted to get back to reality ASAP. That way I could just get it over with. Kind of like jumping into a lake or something. That way it'd hurt less. On the other hand, why don't I just indulge myself in this blissful little fantasy for a little while? I'm sure Remy won't mind.
Starts with Re.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious even without the hint. I could tell the moment she opened her mouth. After all, I was trained in the art of working out the voice actor just by hearing an anime character talk. That said, I wasn't a VA otaku or anything like that. This was just a natural stage of progression for anyone who watched anime.
Wow, is it that hard? Here's that. It ends with me.
You just give away the answer. Oh, what a complete dunce. Then again, oh, Remy. You're so cute, Remy. There's a simple reason as to why I couldn't answer. Well, I obviously knew the answer. Saying the name out loud was pretty damn embarrassing. Well, since it was a delusion, I should just play along. Me.
Ding ding ding.
Her hands released my face. I slowly opened my eyes. turned around, and to no surprise, I found Remy standing there.
Sorry it took so long in there.
Wait, what? I wasn't waking up from the delusion? Usually it would just end here, and I'd suddenly return to my senses. I tried pinching my cheek. No, wait, that's how you tell if you're in a dream, but dreams and delusions aren't all that different, so it's not really wrong to use that method, but ouch, my cheeks hurt. What the fuck? Wait, was this actually real? Upon realizing this, I instantly became embarrassed. My face shot straight to the ground.
What's wrong? Why are you blushing?
Despite her words, Remy's cheeks were dyed a light scarlet. But maybe that was just because the sunset was shining down on her? Maybe...
Anyway, let's head on home.
Okay. Yippee! Sword. Hello, Momose. I feel like I always keep trying to say her name as Mimosa. Oh well. Oh god. No. Ah! Oh wait, we're about to get into the chapter 6, yeah. So things should start changing here apparently. So, yeah, this Shogun has spelled S-H-O-U-G-N. I think I did a positive delusion here, so I'm doing a negative one this time. Right then, as if answering my prayers, I heard a faint knocking sound come from the door. Remy! It's Remy. Remy had actually come. Salvation having finally arrived, I head for the door. Only to stop dead in my tracks. Why was she knocking so hard? Remy? I called out to the other side of the door. The sound ceased. Silence. There was no answer. Please, say something. Why weren't you saying anything? It's Remy, isn't it? Please answer me. Without a reply, the knocking resumed. Was it not Remy? Who is it? Who's at the door? Could be Shogun? Now that I was suspicious, all the courage I mustered to go and open the door had completely vanished. I slowly drew backward, going back far enough that I ended up tripping over my chair. And as I did, the pounding on the door remained incessant. Someone was knocking on it, and they weren't stopping. No, it wasn't just the door. The banging sound was coming from the walls, and the ceiling too. Whoever was outside wasn't alone. Who are you? Unable to bear the terror any longer, I screamed out. Then, as if in response to me, the sound suddenly stopped. I wanted out. I wanted to run. I wanted to run away as far as possible. But how? There was no doubt a group of people outside surrounding and the entire container. The sound began echoing again. But this time it wasn't the sound of knocking. This time it was the horrifying sound of nails on a chalkboard. It made my skin crawl. And not being able to see the party made it all the more terrifying. I knew it was Shogun who had sent them, but I had no idea what they looked like. I had no idea what the person harassing me from behind these lone, tiny walls looked like. My entire body was covered in goosebumps, and the sheer discomfort I was feeling made me even more nauseous than I already was. I covered my ears tightly. Stop. Stop it. Leave me alone. There we go. When I returned to my senses, I was still in front of the monitor. Shocked, I turned around to the rest of the room. I stayed still and listened carefully. I couldn't hear anything anymore. Had it just been a delusion? For more than 5 minutes, I stayed hyper alert to everything that was happening from outside the container, so frightened that I couldn't even move. In the end, there weren't any signs of anything suspicious, so I opened the door slightly and peeked outside. There was no one there. Had it really just been a delusion? Even if it had been, I was still just as anxious, and my heart was beating fast. I looked back at the monitor. Wee. Bye, Sip. Bye, Sip. Do 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 do.
お前だな。
I think I did positive before. Nope, I did negative before. You win some, you lose some. Hello. Evil. Evil hours here. Hello, Remy. Did I not already do both good and bad here? I don't remember. I'm just gonna do positive. Pick up the phone already. Oh, she picked up. Nanami?
Nanami,
Nanami, are you there? Answer me. Where are you right now? Are you okay? Come on, say something.
Nanami.
Nanami! Nanami!
So, truth is...
Huh? What the... something weird was going on. It was almost like I was hearing Nanami not just through the phone, but from somewhere really close by, too. Where the hell are you?
Up top.
Up top? My gaze wandered upward. Something was moving on top of my head. A person. Someone was rolling around up there, and because of how little space they had, Aroga cases crumbled to the floor as they did. Don't tell me. Nanami?
You found me!
My guess had been right. Nanami peeked out from atop the bed with an apologetic look on her face. Had she just been hiding there this whole time? But since when? What do you mean, teehee? Never mind, did you see this guy in a wheelchair? As she got off the bed, I examined her from top to bottom to see if she was hurt anywhere.
Bro, need to get down a notch?
I asked you questions, don't answer me. Are you sure you didn't hit your head?
You're asking about Shogun, right?
Oh god, you actually met him? Where? What did he do to you? I grabbed Nanami by the shoulders, desperately pressing her for an answer. Jesus Christ. Yes, Nanami could be a huge brat, but Shogun had to defile her. It'd be all my fault. Shogun put his hands on her as a means to provoke me. To him, she was just collateral damage. I'm sorry. I was so ashamed I started to cry. I was causing problems not just for myself, but for those around me. Harmless otaku, my ass. I was a failure. Not just as a brother, but as a human being. I was scum. Complete and utter scum.
Are you crying? Wait, were you worried about me?
I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Don't cry. Oh wow, this got kinda out of hand. The truth is, that email you got from Shogun, it was just a prank.
Huh? I couldn't process what she'd said. I was stunned.
So what I'm saying is Shogun was me the entire time. Just you don't spend much time with me at all, so I let him mess with you a bit. Then it just kind of turned into that. So yeah, nobody did anything bad to me at all. I'm okay. So no more crying, bro. Got it?
You... I was relieved. Upon learning that she deceived me, the release of all my tension and fear made me cry even harder. I couldn't believe that she'd do that to me, and I was pretty upset that she'd been screwing with me for so long, but none of that mattered right now. Don't do that to me.
I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry, big bro. I brought you a treat, so let's just call it peace offering.
She held her hands together as if in prayer as she apologized to me. Then she carefully took out a paper box she'd been hiding in the corner. Inside the box were 4 tiny cakes, 2 Mont Blancs and 2 cheesecakes.
So, you look good, right? Of course they look good. I made them. I whipped them up just for you. Come on, let's eat them together.
Nami put the box on my desk, then placed 2 cakes on each on 2 different paper plates that she'd set out. No idea where they'd come from, though.
Hey, big bro. Thanks for worrying about me. I'm glad to hear that you care. Really, it's pretty crazy that even you have a soft side in there somewhere. I'll be completely honest, it's a little lame how you cried over it.
Shut your mouth a lot, you lying, backstabbing bitch. My pride had been torn to shreds. I've been deceived, betrayed, and even ended up crying. I can't believe how pathetic I was, how stupid I was.
But at the end of the day, I'm glad you're my big bro.
She smiled at me happily. It was a more peaceful sight than I was used to. How nice it would be if that was what actually happened. And it's off. Yeah, that was nothing more than an overly convenient, easy-to-swallow delusion of mine. Nanami still hadn't picked up, and the sound of someone's ringtone continued to echo throughout the room. The melody was a happy-go-lucky one, something that was in harsh contrast to my current state of mind. The sense of dread was growing within me was growing. There's no getting around it. Nanami's film was in this room. Couldn't avert my eyes from reality. And skip. And oh! What? Huh? It's not there. The hand's gone. What? Oh, this is very different. What the heck? Lying the phone was and the foil was a phone identical to mine. A phone with blood splattered all over it. I understood all too clearly what it meant. What? Chapter 7. Daydream. Whoa! I could no longer concentrate. Unable to take it anymore, I whipped open the door to my base and leapt outside. My whole body was exuding an insane amount of moisture, covering me in an unpleasant, greasy sweat. The nightly wind felt colder than usual. The moment my feet hit the chilly concrete, I immediately realized I wasn't wearing any shoes. I had to go. I had to go do what Shogun said. I had to go to O-Front. Obviously, I was scared. I obviously didn't want to go, but all I wanted to do was curl up in my room and hug my knees in fear, but I felt that if I didn't, something horrible would happen to Nanami. The tears refused to stop. Even if I wiped my eyes, my sight was still constantly blurred. Nanami. My whimpers were even more pathetic than I expected them to be, to the point where I felt like throwing up. I shook my head back and forth, desperately trying to shove down the weakness swelling up within me. Even the slightest amount of hesitation here would mean I'd never leave for O-Front. So I had no choice but to continue up my momentum. I'm too worried about Nanami, so I can't just stand around. And with that thought, I bolted away from my room. Don't lose this momentum. Make it to O-Front, things might just work out. Hurry up, put your shoes on. After that, grab your serotonin figure as a good luck charm, and then just run. Run as hard as you can. Right now, you're Nanami's only hope. I clenched my teeth and then, right as I was moving back to my base to grab my shoes, I thought I heard something. I sprang up in surprise, and then when I turned toward where the sound had come from, I saw a person. Huh? Nami? I rubbed my eyes and took another look at her face. It was Nami. I know her face anywhere. Nami! I rushed to her side. For some reason, she was completely naked. Her head hung toward the ground lifelessly, and I couldn't make out the expression on her face. Every few seconds, her slender body trembled. Nami? Even though I rushed over to her, I still had absolutely no clue what had happened to her, nor what to do in response. All I could do was call her name over and over. What I really wanted to do was hug her, but the thought that she might then think I was a pervert made me hesitate. Why are you...
Big bro?
Why are you naked? Sluggishly, Nanami's head lifted up toward me. Her face was pale and her lips were somehow worse. It was like she was on the verge of death. Her eyes were vacant and hollow. And yet, when she looked at me, I could see large tears spilling from the corners of them.
Big bro. Why?
What happened to you? Are you okay? In response to my question, she shook her head lightly from side to side.
Why am I here? I can't really remember.
In any case, I quickly looked her over and see if she was injured. Of course, she didn't want to seem like I didn't want to seem like I was deliberately looking at anything I shouldn't. I mean, it wasn't like I was hot for my blood-related sister or anything. Seeing her naked didn't do anything for me in the slightest. At least she didn't seem injured. Wait, then whose blood was that on the cell phone? You know what? I just worry about that later. Well, anyway, it's cold out. Let's go inside. I held her hand, and I held out my hand to her. She was pretty slow to react. Her trembling showed no signs of stopping. She looked like a newborn fawn. Nanami grasped my hand. She was cold. So cold, in fact, I unintentionally let out a yelp. You're freezing! Bracing myself for her getting mad at me, I touched her bare shoulders. She was cold to the touch. Should I get a hot shower ready for her? Or should I make her something hot to drink first? Regardless of which, I couldn't just leave her naked here. This wasn't a situation in which I could care about what she would think. She needs something. Ah, she looks so much better now. I tried to pick the cleanest thing I could find to put on Nanami, but my lifestyle didn't exactly make that very easy. I didn't have many clothes for wearing in public at all, really. So reluctantly, I'd given her my brand new blood-tuned sweatshirt that I'd been hanging on to for safekeeping. Then I made her some instant coffee. Generally, coffee wasn't my thing, but I can remember Nanami bringing some over a long while back, saying Mom and Dad had made her. It hadn't expired quite yet, so it should have been fine. Nanami was sitting quietly on the sofa. She still looked pale, but her shivering had stopped. It seemed getting fresh clothes on her helped her body stabilize. I suddenly handed over the cup of coffee, and she meekly accepted it.
Thanks.
She wrapped the cup up with both hands and stared fixedly at the surface of the dark liquid.
Sure is black.
I don't have any cream or sugar, so you'll have to take it black. Likely understanding the situation, she pursed her lips and blew on the coffee. And then she slowly raised the cup to her mouth.
Oh.
Was she not good with hot things? I couldn't remember she'd always been like that, though it didn't help that I never paid much attention to details like that to begin with. Nanami started chugging the coffee like her life depended on it. Her cheeks were turning rosier, so her body was probably heating up as it moved through her.
Big bro, this coffee is scorching hot.
Don't drink it.
I'm still gonna.
You can either whine or be honest, but you can't do both. Then again, her complaining was probably a sign that she was feeling better. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. What exactly happened? Finally, I managed to suck it up and ask her what was on my mind. When I'd seen the cell phone covered in blood, I thought for sure that Shogun had kidnapped her. But in the end, it turned out to be nothing, and now I had no reason to go to Oakfront. I could just stay here with Nanami. I still don't understand what happened, though. Nanami had very clearly been naked outside. Her abnormally low body temperature was also puzzling. In response to my question, Nanami blankly stared into her cup.
Oh no. I really don't remember I have no idea how I made it in front of your room.
Don't tell me. Did she have amnesia? You didn't see some really wrinkly kid, did you? Rides a wheelchair, really shady?
No.
You lost your phone, didn't you?
My phone? I don't even know where my clothes went, let alone my phone.
So, nobody did anything horrible to you?
Huh?
Well, that's... more rogue, like, never mind. I mean, I hadn't seen any injuries on her, so that didn't seem likely anyway. As if she just remembered something, her head shot up.
My bangle.
Huh?
The bangle you gave me. I lost it.
I mean, you didn't have any clothes on or anything on you, so of course the bangle would be gone too. Use some common sense.
Yeah, but about that. Why is it that I only remember losing my bangle?
Where'd you lose that?
I don't know.
No, Nanami was really disheartened. She must have been thinking that it was gone for good and that we'd never find it now. Hearing her story, well, it still didn't tell me a thing about what happened. Should I take her to the hospital? Before that, maybe I should contact our parents. That way they could come pick her up.
Hey, big bro? Can I sleep over tonight?
Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it here for today. There is something obviously very wrong with this. Something's not quite right in the fact that this is all a hallucination, or a delusion. But it's a delusion that's trying to become real at this point. It's a delusion that is becoming real, I should say. I think that's what's happening right now. Every so often we see the world start to waver and stuff. And I think it's that this is all delusion, but it's one that's somehow managing to become real. One that shouldn't be real, but is becoming real. That's what this ending is, I think. And that might be what the other endings are like, too. Delusions that shouldn't be possibly becoming real. But we'll learn more about that next time. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoy, and hope to see you all next time. Peace.